Let's bring in Leila Hatoum, political economist and editor-in-chief at MENA Uncensored. She joins us live from the Lebanese capital, Beirut. Thanks for joining us, Leila. Now, it's expected that 60,000 businesses in Israel will shut down by the end of the year. How is Israel's ongoing war in Gaza affecting its economy, particularly when it comes to local businesses?
Well, from the beginning of this war until May, we had estimated about 80,000 small and medium-time enterprises had already shut down and closed because of the economic and financial impact and the burden that they had faced, not only basically when it comes to lack of customers, the downturn when it comes to tourism as well, but also the fact that reservists were pulled away from the working market. So the working hand was pulled away towards the reservists, and that impacted those businesses. At one point or another, that also had a negative impact on the budget. We saw the Israeli budget at one point or another showing a deficit of 8.1% in July, and that's the government estimate. Our estimate is in the double digit now. And at the same time, we have the economy basically is down at around 14%. They estimated at 8.1% for the past 12 months, but it's about 14% so far for the past 10 months alone. Remember, we cannot take the numbers from the Israeli government itself. They're trying to basically restrict the data that they show because they don't want to show that they have massive, basically, losses. The first 2 months of the war, if you remember, we had an issue with the Israeli government not issuing any numbers. And then we found out that 1/3 of their economy had been stalled. Their economy is about, or their GDP basically is about $480 to $490 billion. 1/3 of that, that's about $162 billion that were lost in the first 2 months of the war. If you want to compare it to COVID, I mean, think about it this way. For the whole year of COVID, they had about 14% downturn. The first few months, it was about 2.2%. When it comes to this war, the first 10 months of this war, you had a downturn of about 12 to 14% alone. So the number is going to increase. And for the past 16 months, the budget deficit has been also basically going down.
Right, very interesting, Leila. Now, what role do international factors such as boycotts and export bans such as Turkey's play in exacerbating the economic challenges Israel is currently facing?
Well, boycott is actually, it works really well when it comes to entities that rely on foreign aid and basically foreign trade, just like the Israeli entity. It needs support from the US and other countries in terms of finance, in terms of military, and in terms of basically trade. To a certain extent, the boycott from Turkey would negatively impact the revenues when it comes to the Israeli entity. But you have to understand one thing. Yes, Turkey had announced its boycott in May, but it didn't effectively come into effect basically until a month and a half afterwards. But we do expect going forward it will have a major impact, especially that Turkey was one of the last few countries that basically does trade or is able to do trade with the Israeli entity because everything that comes from Asia through the Red Sea has been stopped by the Yemenis.
All right, Leila Hatoum, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much for your